University. He is in Karachi, Pakistan. Professor, tell us, as you look at the scope of the damage, is this exactly what you would expect to see when you see two nearly 8 magnitude earthquakes in quick succession?
Well, to be honest, my dream is that this has not been, or I don't have to really see these kind of scenes anywhere in the world. Unfortunately, that is not the case in most or in many cases, and we have to experience these type of devastations in different places. This is to be remembered that the blame is not to go to the earthquakes. The blame is certainly, or a part at least, lies with us humans, because if we are to construct a little carefully, then perhaps these scenes could be avoided.
You know, this is what interests many people. Can you even earthquake-proof a building? Or once you have something approaching a magnitude 8, it's just good luck, all bets are off?
Well, I would certainly disagree with this word of earthquake-proof, because there is no such thing that can exist proof. What we call it is resistant. So the buildings should be earthquake resistant. And as far as our engineering knowledge is concerned, the magnitude is not really of that important. For us, the importance is the ground acceleration, how much ground acceleration is created. And there is science that can be used to forecast what is the possible ground acceleration at any place that can be expected over a certain period of time. And then based on that, the buildings could be designed that can be resilient and that can resist the earthquakes, because the devastations are caused only when the buildings collapse on people. If the buildings are damaged, but they are not collapsing, perhaps they will not be that harmful. At least the lives can be saved.
You know, when you have a disaster zone, and let's say for many years, you don't have a whole lot of earthquake activity. You might have a lot of tremors, but you're looking at magnitudes of 4 and 5, you know, here and there. Is it possible that over time those buildings are indeed sustaining damage? It's just that nobody notices it?
In some cases, yeah, this is very much possible. And the point is that if there are smaller magnitude earthquakes, they can be a good sign, because if smaller magnitude earthquakes are taking place, it means the energy built up is small, and whatever the energy is built up is released. The problem is that when these small magnitude earthquakes do not take place, the energy built up increases, and it means that you can expect huge amount of energy which is released whenever there is an earthquake. And yes, there can be damages in buildings caused by smaller earthquakes, and certainly these buildings are then more vulnerable than buildings which are not suffering damages due to smaller magnitude earthquakes.
You know, when you, and especially viewers out there who might not be used to covering or seeing coverage of earthquake damage, when you have a magnitude 6 versus a magnitude 7, or let's say a 6.9 versus a 7, how much of a difference is there in the type and the severity of damage that you can expect to see?
Well, it's huge, because that's a logarithmic scale. So when you increase from 6.9 to 7, then you are talking about 10%, more than 10% increase in the energy. And once again, it's the release of energy, which is that we call earthquake. Otherwise, this, in other words, is the energy that travels in the ground, and then it causes shaking in the ground that certainly results in causing building damages, because if the ground is moving with the same time period as the building, then we can expect the magnitude, the amplification of the deformation that take place in the building.
Mohammed, what is the best technology in building that humans do today that protects from earthquake damage?
Well, it's probably with any technology, the more important thing is to follow the codal provisions. The design codes must be followed in their true spirit, irrespective of what technology is used. So if the buildings are constructed using building codes and the provisions given in the building code, they provide sufficient safety element in the buildings.
All right, Mohammed Masood Rafi, appreciate it.